What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky J. I'm going to be playing a game on PTCGO today, and today I am trying out my friend Andrew Wambolt's Lucario deck. I think Lucario is a vastly underrated Pokemon in the Pokemon trading card game right now. It's very good. I love that the deck is low maintenance. You just attach single energies really to Lucario, and when you evolve Riolu into Lucario, you can take huge one-hit knockouts fairly easily. Sorry if there is still a little bit of a frame rate issue. We are working on that. Got internet people showing up this upcoming week to come see if we can get that problem worked out, but until then we kind of have to make do. I actually had a sweet tabletop gameplay that I had done with Riley yesterday as well, but then I realized that I had like another gameplay error. I keep playing the old deck on tabletop is just very difficult. Like I always will forget one thing per game, and usually I'll just correct it, but this is really changed the shape of the game. I had forgot to flip on a baby flip twice in a row, so that was really rough. And it was because I was using attack that didn't do damage, so I didn't think about flipping for the baby flip. So we are going to film more tabletops, get those up and running here, and see how that goes. Now this is an interesting turn one for me. I feel like I definitely have to go get myself I have to go get a Remoraid, I think. Yeah, and then this is rough because I can't really. I can choose to get Riolu and then Evo Soda. I think I kind of have to get Remoraid though, and then next turn go get Buzzwole, and we're gonna try and do that. Get Buzzwole early, I think. But I need to get Remoraid so that I could draw more cards. I think this hand is kind of a bum hand without it. That, or I do just go get Buzzwole and attach a strong energy to it. I don't even know if I want to attach a strong energy to my Buzzwole though. Honestly, it is good that Riolu has 70 hit points for this matchup. That is good. I feel like yes, the Buzzwole is going to be better early, so we're just going to go get Remoraid here. And we'll probably attach Floatstone to the active just so that we have that option. And then we're going to hope that my opponent does not counter my Brooklet Hill. I doubt that they will. They're playing Greninja from what it appears, and I think from what I saw, it is Greninja BREAK. Fortunately, they do have a 60 hit point Froakie in the active. That's much easier for me to knock out. Very good. And I do have a Sycamore, so sure enough, I did not even need to go get that Rare Raid. That's fine, though. This will help me to draw through my deck. Now, I think that I actually just kind of want to Guzma here. So I can go get Buzzwole, and I'm doing 50, and then knock out the Froakie. I could knock out the Staryu right away. That, or I just retreat, and then I will just be doing. I have Regirock, so I will do a perfect 60 and then 30 to that Staryu there. That's pretty good, so I actually don't mind that at all. In which case, I guess the only point of not using Sycamore would be to save these things in my hand, but I don't really need too much of it. Maybe I want to Pokemon catch or something. Maybe I want a basic energy here, for when they water duplicates. The deck doesn't play a ton of energy, so I might want these things. So I think I will just retreat. There's no point in really just targeting down the Staryu. I feel like I'd rather just target down the Froakie here, and then we're going to hit that Staryu. Very good. So next turn, I can hit 70, which is what I need in order to knock out this Frogadier here, and this next turn I also need to get a Riolu down, just because the Lucario is going to be what can knock out these Greninjas in one hit. I do want to keep this Staryu off the board, as I suspected. Yeah, the Enhanced Hammer, definitely a pain for sure. I do want to try and keep the Starmie off the board. The Starmie is going to be huge in this matchup as far as just being able to stream their energy for their water duplicates and things like that later into the game. But yeah, my opponent does have the water duplicates here. Now, hasn't played a supporter yet. So, it could be a Sycamore in hand right here. Obviously, you don't really play supporters before you water duplicates. A lot of times you don't want to draw into more Frogadiers. So he's just going to look to set these out on the bench. And he has all 4 Frogadiers. So Bummer for us. You know, a lot of times we do want to have at least one of those prized. We have a Kukui, so that's actually pretty sweet. So that makes up for the fact that we don't have strong energy here. And sorry for the lag there. Some of you guys could see that. We actually did prize our Diancie, so that's like horrible because that would have allowed us to take this KO. So that's like super rough. We are going to just go get a Riolu then. Slap that onto the bench. Then I think that I just Kukui and like see if I happen to hit a strong energy. Like, I don't mind that. Keeping Guzma in hand is like pretty good. There's really no point to Sycamoring. So I think like if I Kukui and I hit a strong, there we go. Now I got the knockout on that Frogadier. So that's like super good for us. We also get a knockout on the Staryu. So I'm taking 2 more prizes this turn. Definitely great play there with the Kukui. That was awesome. It really buffed out for us, especially after missing the Diancie. It was actually great that we kind of didn't have to go even get the Diancie because that allowed me to bench that Riolu as well, who is ready to go just on evolution here. And there's my Diancie as well, so that's great. We are anticipating here that we're going to start to get Shadow Stitch, though. That's kind of what we think is going on. And you can see with as many enhanced hammers as my opponent is just like raining down into play, it is very good that I was able to kind of just keep my energy and not actually Sycamore. I'm very glad there. However, we are going to see this matchup, you know, kind of come to a screeching halt for me because my opponent, if they get the Shadow Stitch this turn, they don't have the Shadow Stitch this turn. This is huge, right? Absolutely huge because now, oh, and I do have the Sycamore as well, but I was going to say, like, this is insane. So we are going to go get that Diancie to help us get that knockout on my opponent's active here. So we are doing 30, 40, 60. I mean, that's not quite a knockout. I think that, I mean, we could get real greedy and just go for the 3rd strong here. I don't think that I actually want Choice Band on the field. It's not going to make any difference, and I feel like my Pokemon could get stuck. So I think I'll just Abyssal for 2, see what I get off of that before I attach. I do have a Lucario who obviously could take a knockout here, but I don't really want that. So I think I'm going to save all these things in my deck here. I think I'll attach the Choice Band to my Riolu. That's like the safest place for it. And then I think I'm just going to Cynthia here. Save the Sycamore in my deck for drawing like late out of like, you know, pretty bad ends and stuff. So I think I will just attach that because if I miss the fighting energy here off the Cynthia, that's just like a real feel bad play. So that's good. We got another Riolu. I think we just slap it down, thin the deck a little bit. And then we Jet Punch. We don't get the knockout this turn, which is fine. And we could just put 30 more damage onto that Staryu. And we just want to just keep applying pressure here as much as we can. We do have a Guzma, so as long as my opponent does not have Field Blower again, then I can Guzma, potentially knock out the Starmie. They top decked the Greninja, so like they just didn't have it last turn. Sure enough, it is their top card though, but since they got no Greninjas into play last turn, they are just looking like they, you know, I could have thrown that Choice Band down, I'm realizing as well. But yeah, it's fine. We got ourselves our own N, but yes, they have no Greninja breaks this turn. So ideally they want to get like 3 Greninjas out, right? And they're going to Shadow Stitch, but they're already very kind of on the back foot here. They're definitely like lagging behind, but it doesn't really matter for Greninja. Greninja can just full on sweep here at the end of the game if they are just able to stabilize their board position in any type of way. My goal is going to be to keep that Staryu out of play. Like, I need to keep that thing out of here. So I will slap an energy onto Riolu here, and then I think I just have to end again before I take another prize. And let's see. So I could, like, catch her up something, try to be annoying. Like, I could bring up this Froakie here, which would require my opponent to retreat a little bit. I don't really know how necessary that is. I think I might want to save the catchers for later in the game. And then, actually, yeah, let's see if we could catch her. Yeah, let's bring up this Froakie. That's fine. And then we're just going to Jet Punch, knock out the Staryu. I mean, this Greninja here can get knocked out by a Lucario or something like that. And just making them have to retreat is like always good. You want to like make them waste energy. Taking the Starmie out of the equation that turn means that they're not going, the odds of them having like the shadows, like they're definitely not getting double Shadow Stitch. That's what I like really need to prevent, is that double Shadow Stitch play. If they could get a double Shadow Stitch play, then they are going to take, really big turns here. And even if they are just able to knock out this Buzzwole, that is going to be really bad. And that just requires them to get one Shadow Stitch, and then also the, Giant Water Shuriken. So all they need is one Water Energy. They don't really have any Water Energy. They have one in the discard pile, so I suspect that they're going to get it. But at least preventing the double Shadow Stitch was good. So, yeah, this is kind of how this matchup dwindles down. 6-2. We only need 2 more prize cards, but we probably won't be able to take them, especially since we just need Lucario's bad. And we could end this game if we just top deck a Lucario here. The Lucario can take a knockout on this Greninja BREAK, and then all we need is if they hit into my Lucario without knocking it out, I can Cantankerous Beatdown for the game. So I just need a top deck in a bad way, and there's just no other way around it. My opponent has benched both Staryus now, so they are ready. That being said, I will be attempting to bring one of those Staryus up, because if I don't top deck a Lucario right here, that is, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so I think I just want to try and knock out the active. We are going to go get a card. My opponent's at 4 prizes. Actually, we could go get the Sledgehammer Boy as well, which is great for us. His value is just huge as a non-EX, non-GX Pokemon. Then we have Sycamore here, so we just want desperately to knock this thing out. Okay, we did get, we got the energy, so we can knock out this Greninja in the active. Then if my opponent does not take a prize this next turn, then I'm just going to be Sledgehammering again, which is absolutely huge. So let's just retreat here into this Buzzwole. Now we just want to get rid of as many not live cards as we can. So we just want Lucarios in our hand, really. Or my opponent, maybe, I guess if they decide to not Shadow Stitch, I could take the Lele, so that's fine. We'll take these guys here. And then we are just going to Sledgehammer for knockout, and I should be in a pretty good situation. Obviously, this is kind of game time here. If we get end to 1, then we just need to draw out of it. I'm going to need a Lucario. I'm probably going to need an energy to finish this game off, just to go pick off a benched Pokemon, a benched Staryu, something like that. I need to try and target down one of these weak dudes on the bench. My Aura Strike is not going to be hitting for 170 anytime soon here, because my opponent is shutting off my abilities like Diancie and Regirock. I think that might also be 3 Floatstone in the discard pile. All right, I play 4 Floatstone total, so I have 1 Floatstone left. I also have 2 Guzmas left, so I have these resources at my disposal to switch if my opponent were to do something crazy like counter catcher up, my Octillery, which is a little bit sketchy. We obviously don't want that. I don't have the Guzma in my hand, so I would have to Sycamore for Floatstone here. What's my catcher situation? I have 2 catchers left in deck as well, which is great, because if they don't have N here, which they might not have, oh, they do. Okay, there goes the N. Yikes. The Greninja always has the end of 1. I don't think that I've ever seen Greninja not have the end of 1, so that is pretty crazy. The real question is, are they able to get, oh, they have the Starmie as well. My gosh, they do have the double Shuriken. They have everything they need off of this end of 1 here, ending themselves to 4. They got everything, so they are going to be able to knock out my Buzzwole. Potentially, I guess, like, no, I guess not. My opponent still could have, like, knocked me out. I'm just thinking, like, would it have been better to go in with the Lucario instead of the Buzzwole just because he has more hit points, and just attach the second energy to the Lucario and, like, build myself a better board position that way? Potentially, like, maybe that would have been the better play. I think I just promote here and hope for the best. Like, there's no real other option. Okay, not bad. So, like, that's a thing that can help. All right, so now we put my opponent in a situation where, like, you kind of have to knock out my Lucario here or a strike for 120. Kind of have to knock him out. I mean, you could do, like, Giant Water Shrieking, and then, so, like, that's 120 plus 70 is 190, so they're short. The only way that they could take a knockout is if they break the lock. So if I top deck an energy here, I'm good to go. But they don't want to hit into this, so they're not going to hit into this. They are going to try to snipe the bench, which is very intelligent. So I probably am just going to lose here, unless I can get myself like a strong energy and a Pokemon catcher to bring up one of these things and just Aura Strike for game. That's really like the only way I can imagine myself pulling out. This is just like such a classic Greninja scenario, though, is you just like can't really deal with the end of 1 and the end, like the end of 1 and then the ability lock. Like, every deck plays a way to draw out of it. They just, you know, more often than not, they probably won't. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Now, my opponent decided not to go. They're just going to Shadow Stitch with this one. They didn't go double Water Shuriken. I wonder why. I do have another Rescue Stretcher, but I don't think it really matters right now. I think I just am kind of stuck. Now, they can knock out this Lucario next turn, so it does kind of matter. Maybe they wanted to keep themselves a fresh Greninja, because if I could top deck a Sycamore or something, unless they can like end the game right here, which I don't think they can end the game right here. I think they need one more turn. So I need to top deck like a, let's see, do they have energy in the discard pile, right? I don't know what is going on here. But I do need to top deck like a Sycamore or something, just so I can get a catcher and an energy. That's just like my win condition. This Lucario is going down this turn. I can Rescue Stretcher for the Lucario back, so I have that as an option. I just need the other pieces to the puzzle. And that's the thing that Greninja does so well, is it just can keep you from finding that final card combination that you need in order to pull the game win off. And that's like, it looks like that's exactly what my opponent is able to do here. Despite the fact that I was able to just display incredible aggression early on, take really good prizes with that Buzzwole, it just doesn't really matter. The trade just gets too unfavorable here at the end. Now my opponent can just double Water Shuriken the bench for knockout, and sure enough, we just don't have it. So they definitely Shadow Stitch. So like I can't Rescue Stretcher for, I don't have Lele or anything like that. I can't Octillery, so that's it. Great game to my opponent there. I just don't have it. So even if I were to Rescue Stretcher into Lucario or something like that, like they could just double Shuriken the bench with the, you know, with the combination of Starmie there, and they would just have it for sure. So great game to my opponent. That's just how Greninja goes. Unfortunate for me, but you know, that deck is incredibly powerful when it actually works. So pretty cool Lucario deck. You guys got to see it a little bit. Obviously, we didn't really get to do any of the crazy one-hit knockouts with Lucario that this deck is so famous for, because where am I going? Because of the fact that my opponent was stopping my abilities the entire time. But anyways, as always, thank you all for watching the video. Let me know, what do you guys think of Lucario GX in the comments below. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Peace.